guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Well, here we are once again. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So we got ourselves a Texas Star 400. Got ourselves a Texas Star 667. We got another Texas Star 667. And down here, on this end, we think this is a Palomar knockoff of some kind, a little 200. Now, each one of these belongs, well, each one of these has its own separate little issues. But they all belong to the same guy. So let's start down here. Now, I've seen this kind of power wire before. And I thought, wow, this is my wire. And then I felt it. No, it's a little bit too stiff. Mr. R, we'll say, did his own power wire upgrade. And he goes, wow, I made about 15, 20 more watts. I was like, yeah. Problem is, it's got a burned 455 dual purple dot transistor. And I explained to him that we can go get that exact same transistor. They're $97.50 or whatever they are from RF Parts. Or we can just change that out to a couple HGs. And he says, go HGs. He wants to make this high drive. So the low, medium, and high, we're going to bypass this pad. It's got a low, medium, and high switch. He says he wants the exterior of this thing to stay exactly the same. I said, okay, we'll make that happen for you, Captain. So now let's move over to this 667. This one here. He says this thing chatters when it keys up. He wants to make it a high drive, which is good. Now, the bad thing is it's got HG13Q1s. Okay, which is pretty close to the DEI component. HG and DEI are... it's a long convoluted story. Anyhow, I can tell I got a couple bad pills because, well, our combiner resistor is smoked. So we got to wait and see how many transistors are actually bad. The other thing he wants to do is bypass the driver section. He says, quote, take all that shit out of there, end quote. I said, okay. So we'll pull the variable out, and we're going to make it so that the only thing he's got to do is turn it on and turn it off. And these switches here will do very little, if anything, when I'm done. But we know this one's got some bad pills in it. This one for sure has bad pills in it, because we have let the 10 ohm magical smoke out. So we know that these DEI 16-1Cs, and that's lot number 16-1C, by the way, these two transistors are bad. Now, completely different animal than this one. It's a little bit newer iteration. Does not have the metal clads on the output. It's got a surface mount SMD component on the output, and we have to check those. Now, we think we know what the problem is here. This combiner, which normally sits right here, was off floating around inside the cabinet. Once again, we got to delete the MOSFET driver section completely, pull it out of the way. Okay, we're going to take it out, eliminate our variable in the front. We'll have to see. I don't know if I've got any 16-1Cs. I've got to look. The other problem that we have is back here. One, this is broke off. But two, if we look down here, we'll see the output plug on this connector has come completely out, and it was sitting like this, just like that. So this thing has gotten hot and come loose, so we're going to need to put a new coax connector on that. This little guy right here has got an issue. When you turn it on, it automatically keys up, which tells me it's this keying transistor most likely, and that's all I know about this one. So we're going to have to go through and take a look. This has got 4 Toshiba 2290s in it. So power wire upgrades across the board. beef it up and make it as manly man as we can, all the way from left to right, right to left. That's what we're going to do. So this is our lead in. I'm going to come back and check in after we go. Well, first I'm going to play with this one. Then I'm going to fix this one. Then we'll fix this one, and then we'll do this one last. So let me reset. We're going to start by doing power wire upgrades, and we'll be back once the power wire upgrades are done inside this box. Away we go. Okay guys, what I did is I replaced the key-in transistor right here. And yes, we actually did it right, where we unsoldered it from the board. Turn the power on. Let me show what I'm doing for drive here first. 20 whole watts of drive. This is out of a 400, 42290s. All the variable and all that stuff's been bypassed, so we're just going to leave these switches out. The preamp is fully functional. Okay, so with 20 watts of drive, power on, 1000 watt Silicon Peak. About 555 watts, no problem. 300 bird. Input tune's beautiful. Output meter. Everything's working as it should. Power wire upgrades done and completed. Fuse is bypassed. 3 foot worth of power wire. On to the next box. Well, preamp is working. Now what we did with this one is we went in and we deleted the MOSFET driver section, which is 2 IRF 520s, which is junk. And the circuit that they have in here is sorry, threw up a little bit in my mouth. It's not that great. So went ahead and did the driver delete, did the variable delete on this one as well, and bypassed it directly. Used a piece of 316 mini coax to carry the RF from the front to the back to the splitter. Did a full power wire upgrade on it and made sure everything else is working. All our lights work on this one as well. We're going to hit it with the striker. So let's go ahead and we'll shut off the 667. About 80-90 watts worth of drive. Pass through reflect. Which is good. Turn on the amp in high mode. Our 600, almost 700 watts. Input SWR in the front of the radio. 11111. Sideband delay. Still good. And dial-a-watt. Which is low. And I cannot stress this enough. You want to run this with all the buttons out. It is still fully sideband capable. And we're lucky we did not have to replace any transistors in this. It was all simply input driver issues. And since we did away with it, 111. 111. This thing is working great. Well, that concludes the testing on this little guy. Let's set it aside. We're going to go on to amp number 3. Well, here we are on the last one. I just touched the combiner, which we've completely rebuilt now, and put the right resistor in its place. It just disintegrated on me, so this thing has had a bad hair day. Now, as far as this connector, I can shove it back in there, but as soon as somebody tries to put a real coax connector back in there, it's just going to pop right out. Now, I think in a bag down there, I've got some no-air terminals. No 4-year terminal PL259s. Yeah. So I think we're going to switch over to those. I'm torn what I want to do. He said he wanted to have one that was like hopped up and the best of the best of the best of the best and the best. And as we all know, that means Toshiba. But now it's like 2:36 in the morning, and it's too late for me to reach him. So I'm going to try and... I'm torn. I don't know. We could put HGs in here and get the same kind of results, but the best of the best of the best of the best is going to be Toshiba's. I don't know if he wants to spend that kind of money, though. He didn't seem like he was hesitant to spend anything with me on the phone earlier tonight. So, it's warning, warranty void. Yeah, I got cooler ones than that. Let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna do the driver section delete. Gotta go, just like the other one did. And I'm a little bit worried about this light. It's little dark, little silverized. Yeah, near. I think I'm going to call it quits for the night. I'm going to come out here. I got to make an early go of it in the morning, I do believe. I got a bunch of errands I got to run around and do tomorrow. So I think this is where I'm going to stop. I got this one, and the next one I want to get done. I'll get those done. I get the other one done pretty quick. This one is going to take a little bit more time, but I just need to find out what he wants to do for transistors. So on that note, I'm out of here, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, that was quite odd. I replaced these two transistors, and I replaced these two transistors, and we've done all the power wire upgrades and all that kind of thing. I ran it for a couple times with the 2950. I went to go hit it with the striker, and as soon as I put the striker into it, both these 10 ohm resistors let go and popped both of these transistors, which telling me that there's an issue with the biasing circuit. So right now, let me show you how we test this. So right now, we're going to take our voltmeter, and we're going to hook it up to our input transformer, like this. Okay, we got 0 volts. Now, amplifier is off. Watch what happens. So now we're getting 13 volts worth of draw. And that could be because the transistors are broke down. And now it did. It ran up to about 600 watts in output power. And then, boop, fell down to about 150. Went into an imbalance, and then the two 10 ohm resistors burned. Okay. What we're reading now is the voltage that's passing through the transistors coming this direction back into the bias circuit and giving us a false indication of current. So let's see, that'd be base emitter, collector to base leakage, which is taking place through the transistor. So I got to pull both these pills out, which are now ruined. And these are brand new transistors that are in here, by the way. They're now ruined. And then I got to retest and see what we've got for actually voltage that's going onto the input transformer. So that's $60 out the window. Yay. Wasted money. Okay, let me show you what I'm seeing here. So we're hooked up to our input transformer. There's no transistors left in here, and we don't want to put the 10 ohmers in there because they'll just smoke. Okay? As soon as I key the box, 14 volts present. Now, we don't want to do that too much. Remember, these two transistors are now working into an undefined load. Completely unbalanced. So, what I'm showing you here, though, is that the way this works is your 12 volt DC is switched. It passes through this 5 watt 25 ohm resistor. Goes through these two chokes. There's this 1.2 ohm resistor that's right here that couples to ground, which acts as your load. Now we're talking about very minuscule amount of current. Now what we'll do is we're going to reach in here, we're going to pull this resistor out that has no physical damage to it whatsoever. We're going to test it. This is important. So we're hooked up to both sides of this little resistor. no resistance whatsoever. So we have no reference for ground coupling on our bias circuit, so it's dumping 12 volts directly on the input of the transistor. Yeah, there's no physical damage here, which 99% of the time you can get away with it. If there's no damage to the resistor, you know you're okay. But this resistor is what let go, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to change this resistor, and I'll show you how this drastically affects the amount of bias that's being coupled to the input of the transistor. Brand new resistor, 1.8 ohm. Now let's put that in circuit and see how it affects the circuit. Okay, so here's our old 1.8 ohm resistor. I think I said 1.2 in the previous segment. I was wrong, 1.8. So now we're coupled back up again. We're measuring ground and then our reference on our input transformer. That's a huge difference. 14.8 versus less than half a volt. All because of this one resistor. This one little 3-cent part cost me 60 bucks. Okay, well, let's put it all back together and now it's going to run. Okay, so we've converted this over. Let me show you what we're doing for drive. And yeah, by the way, that power light is working. It's not quite as bright as his brethren, but it is what it is. Okay, let me show you what we're doing for drive. This is a 1000 watt slug in peak, 1000 on average, and 5 watt slug in reverse. Oh, turn the amp off. Hello, 20 whole watts of drive. Hello, hello. Our input tune is excellent. Hello. So at 20 watts of drive, we're making just a hair over 500 watts. Hello. Which is good. So now, let's get rid of the 2950. That was an expensive oops. Hate making mistakes like that. Should have checked. Oh well, lesson learned. Okay, so let's turn the amp off again. Now we're on the 2950. Let's go up here and turn that on. Hello. Hello. 90 watts going in. Let's see. 955. Hello. Decent pass-through tune. So let's go ahead and hit it with a little bit more power. Hello. 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 Input tune's good. Hello. 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 Front of the radio's happy, which is more important than anything. Hello. Hello. This thing is done. Done. Now, like I said, the variable's been removed. It's a straight high drive. Leave these two switches out. Good to go. Okay. Preamp is fully functional. Your dial watt button, want to leave that out, but your delay is still functional. Remember, that's medium. Okay. Meter's fully functional. Lights, everything's done. We put a brand new coax connector on the output side on the back of this thing for you, so you're set. Now, we're going to switch gears. We're coming out of the Texas Star mode. We're going to go over here and we're going to work on this little Palomar 200 or whatever it is. Now, there's two means of power. This amplifier, when you turn the switch to the on position, is bringing a high voltage, or bringing high voltage, please, is bringing the DC current through the switch and it's bringing it over here to the output transformer. What we figured out is that we can bring our positive wire in and hit it here, bring this wire and bring it up to this connection on the switch. And what that allows us to do right here is we eliminate all this line loss. Okay, so it still allows the 12 volt current to go and run the relays and run the LEDs and that kind of thing. But like I told him, it's got 455s in it. We're going to change this over to HGs. It means I'm going to have to play with it a little bit, play with the tune a little bit, and I bet you that we're going to get this thing to do a little bit more than 200 watts. What you want to bet? Now he wants to bypass the low, medium, and high. completely. Not a problem. But aesthetically on the outside, it has to leave completely alone. I'm cool with that. So let me put the tin on this. I got to put a sticker on it, just like I got to put a sticker on the other two. And we're going to jump into this with both feet. We shall return. I thought this was going to be fun. It actually kind of was. A little mental challenge. Had to add a couple things. There's a few more parts than what were in here when the thing came in. But of course, now it does 3 times the watts. The can transistor that was in this thing was completely funkified. And we go to remove it, and half the traces that attach to this little tiny thing just disintegrated because this thing's older than Christ. It didn't even have a snubbing diode on the relay itself. And what you hear running is the hot air gun that I was using to set up my Loctite that I put on all my trimmer caps. Input tune's perfect. We had to add a little bit of capacitance over the output. I added flyback resistors in here, which allows us to make it high drive, and change the output tuning capacitors a little bit, and change the input, the keying circuit. Made it so that the positive wire goes directly to the back of the output transformer. That way we don't have the loss of going through the switch anymore. Now all the switch does is turn the amplifier on and off, repaired the preamp on this thing, and made it so the sideband delay works. But it's Class C, so we don't want to use it in sideband. Let's see, did I leave anything out? Nope, don't think so. Okay. So, 1000 watt silicon peak, 1000 in average, 5 watt silicon reverse. We're on 14 volts at the moment with upgraded power wire. We're going to use our 2950, and we're going to make this thing do more with 20 watts of drive than it's ever been able to do before, because the transistors are capable of doing the work and the rest of the components around it are done. Oh, I had to remove several turns from the output transformer to make it inductively correct for the 2879 HG components. So first and foremost, boys and girls, all the ships at sea, this is what we're going to do for drive. 20 whole mother effing watts. Pass through tune. Beautiful. Turn the amp on. Now remember, boys and girls, this doesn't do anything anymore. So always leave it in the max position. You might as well just put 11 on it. This one goes from 1 to 11. Why not make it just 10? Because this one goes to 11. God, I love that movie. Old Spinal Tap makes me laugh every single time. Okay. Hello. That's 300 watts with 20 watts of drive. Hello. Really? Windows Defender summary. This computer up here, which I never use for anything, which is actually tied to these 2 units. Odd. Okay. Hello. 310 watts peak power out of this little 2-pill. So, that wasn't fun to repair. Was not fun. The snubbing diode is really important because I want to replace the keying transistor, and the first time I fired it off, the shock load that come off the coil, as the current starts to break down inside the coil, it sends off this little electrical pulse, which this snubbing diode collapses at a signal pulse. It came back and wiped out the keying transistors. Like, ready? Okay. So, hello. Alright. Sideband delay is working, even though you can only use this on AM, because there is no bias inside this box. None whatsoever. And an inductive resistor to ground does not count as biasing, in my opinion. Nor will it ever, in anyone's opinion, anywhere, ever on Earth, at any time, no matter what. Okay. So now, we're going to jump over to the 955. I don't suggest you run it like this, but I did set it up to be able to take 90 watts of drive. 90 watts of drive gets us 410 peak watts worth of power. Needless to say, this little 200 wannabe Palomar does a lot more than it has ever done in its entire life. Alright, let me put the tin on this, and we'll be back.
Wait, I'm not stupid. Phew. Man, that guy is the red grin grumble to pretending he knows what's going on. Oh, you agree, huh? You like that red grin grumble reference? Well, guess what? I made him up. You really are your father's children. Think for yourselves. Don't be sheep.
Rick and Morty. Oh, animation is crap. But it's entertaining. Think for yourself, don't be sheep. Okay, well, this brings us to the end of this story. 4 boxes repaired. Everything working exactly the way the customer wants. Everybody's happy. And this thing is going to go, these are going to go home tomorrow. So on that note, I say, gentlemen, thank you guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys that tune in to watch this little dog and pony show. Each time I come out here to talk about one of these little silly subjects, I think it's great. I have fun doing it. I don't know how much longer I can keep mentally doing it though. But we're going to attempt to go as long as we can, because that's the way we roll out here. So gentlemen, my name is BBI. And without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out. www.bbiamps.com. Come find me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and right here on the YouTube Gargler. Oh, over zoomed it. Bad cinematography work there, BBI. Look, guys, if you've appreciated and liked what you've seen, it's usually all with a little bit of fun and tongue-in-the-cheek shtick. Look, click subscribe. Hit the notification button. And if you got a project I can do for you, I'm not currently taking work, but start thinking about it, because here in about, 15, 20 days, I'm going to start opening up the floodgates for more work to come in here. There's been a lot more private videos go out than there has been public videos. I mean, public videos. Public. Pardon my French. Or would that be, pardon my English? Anywho, look. There's more products going out here than what you guys are actually seeing getting done on video. I've got 4 major huge projects getting ready to come up here probably next week. So, big production things that I've been working on for a long time. I just appreciate you all tuning in. I want to say thanks. Alright guys, on to the next ones we go. Bump bump. We'll see ya.